started accusing him of being dishonest, and he was like, "How fucking dare you? It's my fucking mother, you fucking pieces of shit. You think I'm coming here and making shit up? Fuck yeah, fuck yeah!" Like it was so crazy. And anyways, I'm just saying.
You think he was being sincere?
Yes, 100%. And these people are just like they eat COVID-19 Zab candy, like they think it's candy. And so I was in another room and I was like, could I actually prove to you that the COVID-19 Zav was ineffective and a detriment to every person who took it? And but the only way I can do that is if I mock you. So as he was like giving this lecture about the Zav and how safe it is and how all the statistics prove that there's just a little inflammation, a little bruising, and that's it. And so I was like saying, anyways, I was just mocking him in my English accent, and I was dying laughing because I was like, it really proves that like that everybody's just fooled, and programmed. And but that vaccine. Oh, this is what I was calling it. I called them vaccinis. Like, and I was creating rooms called "How dare you question vaccini?" So that's like the mockery. How dare you question my vaccine? My vaccini was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to protected my body perfectly with no harmful side effects. And my health is better and stronger than it would have been otherwise. For if I would have caught it, but the vaccini protected me. How dare you question my vaccini? The science proves that my vaccine was effective. Like, it's just so crazy. But anyways, while I was listening to the conversation, I was creating a mayoral proclamation demanding COVID-19 vaccine reparations for all Chicagoans that died or suffered medical harm as a result of taking an experimental, as he just said, as you heard it, he said they were given approval for an emergency gene modifying supposed vaccine. It's not a vaccine in the traditional sense. Anyways, so I just have a lot of fun roasting people that think that adding a chemical to your body, and again, these are all trans people. Isn't it funny how trans people are so?
Is he trans?
Well, he's gay, but he supports trans rights in his profile. But Yoni is trans. So Yoni, the guy that pretends he's a girl on this app, he was saying that people think that when you add a chemical to your body, that it's a bad thing. But the body is one huge chemical, and so it's not a bad thing to add a chemical to a chemical. Like, that's their logic.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Yes. So anyways, that's why I say it's a super high level R word room. And so actually what we have here is the cult of vaccines. And there's overlay with the LGBTQ cult, the BLM cult, every civil right cult movement there's ever been.
What do you think about transhumanism?
Any man that...
Are you familiar with this concept?
Well, like saying that we're going to become Borgs?
Yeah, basically saying that we're going to become like, who's kind of a transhumanist is River/Liberty.
Yeah.
Is kind of like a transhumanist and is a transhuman also.
Yeah.
I made that joke the other day.
Well, it goes against nature. That's the problem. Is these people are trying to supersede nature. Exactly. And
rewilding it. Yeah.
They're trying to violate natural law. They want to invert natural law because they don't like the situation. They actually don't like nature. And in the... Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you, but have I talked to you about the book Ishmael the Gorilla?
Yeah, like every time we ever talk about books, FYI.
I know it's a joke at this point.
Oh, okay, good, thank God.
I love that book because it was the first book that made the distinction between living in the hand of God and kind of Taoism, kind of close to nature, or being God. And I think that a lot of the COVID and the woke and the transgender and the cut your dick off and it's all just attempts at like playing God. And they want to play God.
Yeah.
Instead, you should do Taoism.
What's the opposite of good? No, evil. So what they're really doing is trying to bring evil into the natural world. That's all it is.
Right. I mean, the definition of evil would be something that inverts nature.
It's mutilation.
Natural.
It's mutilation. These people are mentally ill mutants, and they're perfect for the Ummah because they will pay the jizz tax as long as they have the security of Mohammedans. What I'm trying to say is that one of the more ancient books is called the Kabbalion. It's like a Hermetic mysticism book, and one of the axioms deals with gender, male and female. That those are two incontrovertible or two like definitive pillars of reality, which is really saying nothing more than yin and yang or black and white or opposites. And so,
Kabbalion is not the Kabbalah.
You could say it's part of. You could say it's part of the Kabbalah, but Kabbalion is a specific.
It's a study of Hermetic philosophy of ancient Egypt and Greece.
Yep.
By the three initiates.
Yep. You should try to read the book sometime. It's a book. You know what I heard a black girl on this app today say in Sam Rosen's room? She's like, they got these things called learning books.
Did you hear the guy the other day who said, wait, what's fragility? What's the meaning? Fragility is like you're scared? That's what he said. He didn't know the word fragility.
This guy in Sam's rooms is like, he's like, you got to be extremely detailed and totally literal with every sentence with these retards. Dude, this app is savage. I love it.
My favorite yoga teacher, who doesn't teach anymore, but he was such a powerful influence on me. He is such an eloquent teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he's so good with his words, he'll be like, I can't even imitate it, but he'll be like, take your right hand and put it behind your shoulder, or put your face in the ground, and your palm is on the small of your back, and now push your hips forward, and that's how you do it. He's like so clearly eloquent with everything that he says.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I try to be when I'm teaching driving. I'll say like, all right, now slow down, turn the signal on, we're going to turn to the right, so turn the wheel to the right. You got to be very clear. And yeah, that's how clear you have to be with the R words. You have to say, use your brain to consider the possibilities of what I'm presenting to you. There's this possibility, there's that possibility. Let's consider them both together. Now wait, slow down, don't get excited. Let's keep considering. Now, what do you think about this? And you have to we've agreed on this in the past as well, but it's frustrating to have a conversation with somebody while teaching them how to have a conversation.
Well, in Sam's rooms, do you know who NPC is?
Yeah, vaguely.
So he's like this gay, African American young man. He claims he's an accelerationist, and then I heard him scream in the room one day. He's like, "I'm a stormtrooper." So there are people out there that they think it's not even philosophy. They just want to watch the world burn, and they admit they say, "I'm very poor. I have no money, and I would prefer to just watch the world burn."
You're wondering, why don't you just fucking take yourself out? And it's because they are malicious, and they want to cause mayhem. They want to stick around to do evil.
What's funny is they say there's no, Sam has a room right now called "There's do black men have access to education?" And the truth is, if I was to actually go to my local library, and I've been in there, there's very few books that I would consider of any real value. It's mostly all this ridiculous, gossip drama fiction type bullshit, and it's a very small selection of probably really good books in your local library. But anyways, the Sam Rosen room, if you want to take a listen, is honestly, I think, gold. And Sam does it very calmly,
Sam let me up on the stage earlier, and I think that I mission accomplished after yelling at him and saying, "Why don't you let me on stage?" Then today he let me on the stage, and I said, "Thank you for letting me on stage. I appreciate that."
Wow, what did he say?
He didn't respond, but he didn't boot me out, so I feel like we're friends now.
Do you know who Regal is on this app?
No, I don't think so. Some fucking
He's like, yeah, he's a high level art Christian, like extreme Christian literalist, and like we're, anyways, having a having an interesting, pleasant conversation going on and on. And I feel like sometimes I'm like helping people, sort through their neurotic behavior and
You're teaching them how to think.
not just think, but like I'm imbuing my personality of, okay, don't be a crazy asshole all the time,
Right.
And so eventually he flips on me and he's like, shut the fuck up. So
and you're like, see, that's what I'm talking about.
So I said nothing, and then like I was doing something in the kitchen. I come back and I'm like, excuse me, by the way, did you just say to me, shut the fuck up? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, did you tell me to shut the fuck up? Did you tell me to shut the fuck up? And I just kept saying it until eventually he kicked me. And then he went, but see, he was talking to this other chick. So he went on to have this lengthy conversation with this other chick about how Andrew R. Demeans him. And I was trying to explain to him that, like, your personality is out of compliance, like the way you talk to people is just, it's offensive and argumentative. And thus I said earlier in the room, I was like, by the way, I'm going to co-opt your room. This is actually a support room for haps, highly annoying, highly argumentative people like yourself and everybody in here. And if you want some advice, just don't talk and just listen and confirm that we're listening to haps. And it's like he didn't even understand, I think, what I was talking about. But anyways, it's just very funny. But today I went to his room and he invited me up, but I actually didn't just go up. I just sat there and wanted to listen and see what they were going to talk about. And they immediately went into questions of doctrine, etc. And he was saying that Christian concept is a Zoroastrian concept and this and that. But what I'm also trying to say is I have a new burner account, and I gotta say, listening to this shit is the way to go. To even participate and speak is completely and totally pointless at this point. Because I think beyond a doubt, 100%, 100.01%, I have confirmed that it's just an R word app. But the best part of the app is roasting the R words. That's when it actually, to me, is like the most fun. But anyways, I think we've confirmed all of our hypotheses. There's also the neurotransmitter theory. There's also the sexual theory, I think, on this app that there's just many incels here, and if they get access to a woman, it's like the most exciting conversation of their month, even if it's Kitty.
Yes, that's how the dating on the app is. So, I mean, you're the right age for this probably, but do you remember chat rooms?
Like AOL Instant Messenger chat rooms or something?
Yeah, like chat rooms, like from 25 years ago or something. It was chat rooms.
I heard about people using them, but I never personally used them.
Oh, you've gotten more insane as you've gotten older. I've been consistently insane the entire time. But when you were younger, you were in the military or something, right? You had like a whole productive youth.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is I should be like very high level in Washington, D.C. right now as like a colonel. But only my youth was the most productive and most, most successful part of my life. Everything else has been downhill. I peaked in 2007. That was my peak moment in life, and everything has been downhill ever since. But I can't complain. I mean, how many people actually, get handed the set of keys to a building by Uncle Sam and says, would you like a monthly paycheck for the rest of your life? I mean, it just never happens to people. I'm actually what everybody wants.
I still don't really understand how this is working. Do you rent it out?
No, I own the house.
So how do you get a monthly paycheck?
Because I get VA disability. Yep.
For mental disability?
Well, I don't believe in talking about our health problems because of HIPAA.
Dox yourself.
No, I'm just saying that like HIPAA. Do you know what HIPAA is?
Health. I don't know what it stands for, but it's about privacy. The Health Insurance Privacy Act.
Information privacy. Anyways, I'm just saying that like when I filed a complaint against my manager at the IRS, this black guy who took my initial complaint. He says, "Do you suffer from a disability?" And I said, "Yes." He was, "What is that disability?" I said, "Well, Health Information Privacy Right Act, I prefer not to disclose to you my health condition as you're not a physician," as you just heard Sam say. And he's like, "Well, I gotta know, is it physical or is it mental?" And I was like, "Well, I decline to answer your question." And he goes, "You gonna answer my question, motherfucker?" I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's what he said.
I'm not kidding you. I recorded it. He like fucking had, it was like a clubhouse, crash out.
He had a crash.
He had a motherfucking crash out over my, decline to comment. And I was just like, this is like so, life is so fucking crazy, dude. I was like, this is so fucking crazy.
It's hilarious.
So anyways, I'm just bringing it up. I mean, I don't mind talking about, my situation and what happened to me in the military and all these other issues, but it's neither here nor there. The now is all important. And for highly annoying people and highly argumentative people, they do not understand the underlying concept in all philosophy and all the literature, all the religious books, etc. They are just literal dogmatists who are just like jigsaw people. Like they want all the pieces to create this big jigsaw puzzle. And the whole time of making the puzzle, they're complaining. And even when they finish it, they don't even take pride in it or joy. Have you ever glued a puzzle together after you made the artwork?
I haven't, but I know that people do that. Do you think that's a cool thing to do, or do you think that's a dumb thing to do?
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for people's horrible attitudes in life. I'm just saying, people don't take joy in anything. That's the whole purpose of religion, is to have an enjoyable experience. It's a happening. Your life is only 2.5 billion seconds. Try to enjoy it and stop being fucking annoying. Stop being fucking argumentative. People are so fucking stupid and so low IQ. I can't explain it to you. All I can do is show it to you. I give you Sam.
Testing the animals, and throughout all of this testing, continuously communication with the FDA. At the conclusion of every test, we send the results to them. We meet with them periodically to basically see if the preclinical trials are going.
What is the bottom line here? If you could do it in one sentence, what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is you should be quiet while I'm talking. And so we continue reports to the FDA, and maybe based on the progress of these studies, the model for the study also changes, and so we kind of continuously change the studies that are being done in order to get the data that is best useful for the FDA approval. Now, I said we do trials in animals, and we get out of those trials. What we get is we're going to institute hand raising. Is that what I should be doing? Yeah, let me do that because we're getting riffraff on the bell.
Would I be wrong to say that when you say what do we get, is something that we get, you mentioned that 40%. At that point, we're getting a 40% chance that it's going to work on humans, or
No,
it's
no. It's kind of like,
So
10 milligrams.
basically, I think it's like a user error, like a malfunctioning. See, enlightenment means that that you're in control of your drive. Like the car, the body. You're basically a soul and an avatar. But imagine if you knew that. Imagine if you knew that, you'd probably stop complaining, right? Like you wouldn't be complaining that you have 2.5 billion seconds to do what you want to do in your avatar, vehicle body. But real intelligence is knowing that you're stupid. And there's only one way out of stupidity, and that's through books. Many people today on this app are actually just talking to you through ChatGPT. Whatever the topic is, they put the prompt in and just read it to you as if they're talking to you. That is the definition of like psychotic, neurotic behavior, in my opinion. That's not true self. So we have like a self-functioning error. There's the big self and the little self. And I think I fixed Sam Rosen. You see how you can actually, by having a sincere, intelligent conversation, if you have intelligence, can maybe help like unfuck people? It doesn't work with everybody. And over the years of Clownhouse, I realized that just the other day that I have heard some people say the exact same things for many, many years. And it's easy to sound intelligent, but if you're on this app talking all day long, you are not intelligent. You're just not.
Have you ever done a perspective drawing? Do you know what that is? A perspective drawing from like 5th grade?
No.
I bet you do know what it is. You have a piece of paper and you do a vanishing point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use a ruler and you make like 2 lines that both terminate at the vanishing point. You have a horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up making like a street.
Yep.
Can you picture it?
Yeah, I've done that.
You do it in school, you know? I remember doing it in like 6th grade, making it's called a perspective drawing, and it teaches you about the vanishing point. And so in the driving, I mentioned the perspective drawing because, for example, when you're pulling over against the curb, you want to be parallel to the curb. Now, the curb, it looks like it's going to the left. It looks like if the curb continued that it would go to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, the curb is going straight. It's just that our perspective changes as it goes further into the distance. So if we were to use the curb as a guideline to drive as close as we currently are to the curb, we don't want to get any closer, we don't want to get any further. We want to stay close to the curb.
Yeah.
We're using the curb as a guideline and we're driving straight. Well, what I have to tell you is that the African kids cannot understand this concept. And I think it's because they haven't done a perspective drawing.
It's English, man. They just don't understand the English.
It might be a language thing. It might be a language thing, but what they do is they hold the wheel perfectly straight.
Uh-huh.
And they wait until they like almost crash into the curb. And then they turn it slightly to the left and hold it perfectly straight. And they wait until they almost go into the oncoming lane, and then they turn it back to the right. I'm like, bro, you need to kind of like use your hands like this, back and forth, back and forth. You got to kind of go straight. But I think it's like, I don't know if it's a level of intelligence or if it's a comprehension or if it's a putting the puzzle together and gluing it together or whatever. But it's like some people, I mean, when you're talking about unfucking people's brains,
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, yes, but in some cases, it's impossible.
Yeah, and I think for the impossible,
You know?
I think like this is why I think a reading nonprofit is actually really helpful for people, because if they were to read the script and program themselves in the same way that we feed data into software, etc., like they will process it dialectically, and that's what they're not doing prior to the event, is trying to have a dialectic experience of what they're going to have to do in the physical world. And this is what, like, you know, pre-operational planning and role playing all goes into like operation movements. So
Do you ever, I don't want to make it like too real here, but do you ever think about doing like real life things? Like, I know you don't want to do a foraging tour for fat lesbians through the parks of Chicago, but when I was in high school, my favorite class was everybody, we had to call everybody Mr. Kitover, Mr. Ruda, whatever. But I had this one teacher whose name was Nathaniel, and he taught alternatives to violence. He didn't teach math or English, it was alternatives to violence. And it was like philosophy, and you know, we didn't read the Tao Te Ching, but he was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do something like that. And B, your idea of a book club where you actually read a book is revolutionary. I mean, that is so unique because there are 1 million book clubs in the world. That's a boring idea. But as you said, the book club, they don't actually read a book. They just talk about the book that they might or may not have read, or they might have watched the movie, or they might just have tea and crumpets and turn it into a chat session.
See, a
If you
book.
actually did like a book club where you actually read a book, like that's actually kind of a cool idea.
Well,
know?
see, there are only two types of people in this world: those who read books and those who do not. And so I heard this author. He was like, "I made my living in books. It's like a society. It's a network." And so what we're really dealing with is the high level R word people claim they read books, but you've never heard them read a book. They talk. That's why I'm saying all this, like this guy Sam
and if
right
they
now.
try to read out loud, they can't.
And
read.
they can't.
They
That's
just hand them
yes.
the they can't even read.
That's the thing. It's like it basically it is the R word filtration services where if you come in for a job, here read me this page.
Right,
And-
usually almost like on a date, first date, you should be
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way, can you read me the menu out loud?
Exactly.
I want to just see if you can
You
read.
can't if someone can read you very quickly and totally succinctly without any error, they are 100% intelligent. If they can't do that, then you know that your red flag is up and they gotta go. That's it. Bye. Nope. Gotta try again. Work harder. And so in Sam Rosen's room today, guys like before they said the learning book, they said we learned on Leapfrog, the toy company. So like that's
What is that? That's the little iPad thing? For
yeah,
kids or
back in the day,
something?
they used to sell at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
They're like educational toys that the government spent a gazillion on fucking buying, passing out to all the poor kids so they could push buttons all day and listen to sounds instead of read a fucking book. So then the other guy is like talking about, man, what the fuck? Why the fuck you got black man in the fucking title? Like, why you gotta call out black men instead of just having a room and educating black men? And then I started laughing. I was like, thinking to myself, I'm like, could you imagine like if he was to just say, hey, I want to try to educate you guys something and educate myself in the process so we can educate, like actually do what you're complaining about. And so
Right.
that's what I was also telling Regal. I was like, and I even tell Sig, I was like, you guys are just chronic complainers. Like, do. That's the magic in the rights of man, which is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of law. The do part is capitalized because your life is a happening. It's a doing. It's an action. It's not subjective. It's not objective. It's like a merger of the two. So in the world of highly annoying people that are extremely argumentative, silence is always the secret. And I can't even imagine how many people have died like in the streets because they decided to say something to a hap in the street and that guy happened to turn around and fucking paste you and kill you as you
Right.
smashed
What
your
was
head in the
that?
skull.
Oh, it was called, I think it was called 5 Types of People Who Can Ruin Your Life or something. 5 Types of People That Ruin Your Life. Yeah. And this was about identifying and dealing with high conflict personalities. I think I might have told you about this, but I read it when I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder because it's talking about narcissists and borderline, paranoid, antisocial, and histrionic.
Yeah.
All of these crazy people. But he lumps them all together and calls them high conflict personalities. And even if you were hypothetically diagnosed with one of these personality disorders or whatever, if you simply strive to be a low conflict person, and you strive to avoid or at least navigate conflict peaceably, then you won't be a high conflict person. And for example, when I think of a high conflict person, I think of Dr. Jasmine, a good example. Or just anybody on Clubhouse. The majority of the average Clubhouse user is a high conflict personality. And that's the type of person who you want to avoid on the street, because if you interact, what his conclusion was, as far as high conflict personalities, is that they can maybe heal themselves if they want to avoid conflict, but we cannot heal them. And so when you're talking about unfucking people, when you come into contact with a high conflict personality, like a raving madman on the street, you're not thinking about healing that person. You're thinking about avoiding that person.
Yeah.
Getting away from that person.
Yeah.
as a crazy person. Like when you're on the highway and somebody's being crazy, you don't try to get into a conflict with them with your car. You just avoid them.
See,
Like,
this
pass
is
them or
this
they're
is
crazy.
where I think, like MK Ultra. Have you ever seen Clockwork Orange, where they're
Yeah,
drugging?
of course.
Yeah, they're drugging him. And
Well,
he's,
they're putting him in. He's making him watch the TV with his eyes open.
right. Supposedly they're doing LSD experimentation and putting acid in his
Right.
eyes, and they're trying to program him. But I do, like, if I had a family, okay, and like I had meditation cushions, or let's say I owned a meditation center and I had a room full of meditation cushions, and people, gathered for my meditation course where I would read poetry for an hour and pass a book around. It would be just like my clubhouse rooms, but in an actual real room with meditation cushions, and there would be no, highly argumentative people and no highly annoying people. It's a personality disorder, like you said. So the thing is, you can't, when I say unfuck, you can't change these people's tone. You can't change their topics. You can't change how disruptive and interruptive they are. You cannot change someone's personality. In many ways, that's like the definition of their personality is to be a hack. But
Listen to this.
Yeah.
It says, not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. Thinking that you know, that in itself is a disease. It says, first realize that you are sick, then you can move toward health. The master is her own physician. She has healed herself of all knowing. Thus she is truly whole. So knowing something is a disease that you should be healed from. And when you're truly healed of all the knowing, then you'll be good.
well, yesterday,
If you are diseased by knowing, then you are full of disease. You're a piece of shit.
yeah, I mean, I have a tattoo on my arm that says I'm the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and it's because I know nothing. This guy Sam is reading a chat GPT to people and put together an AI document on drug discovery process. He claims he's a lawyer and a chemist, and he's got, and he's anyways. What I'm trying to say is, I called the hospital yesterday. I was like, hey, can I make an appointment with a psychiatrist, or do I have to come to the walk-in clinic? And she's like, you ever seen a psychiatrist before? I said, yeah. And she said, yeah, you got to come into the walk-in clinic. You can't just come in. And I was like, so I can't get a prescription. I was like, I can't get a prescription the same day. She goes, no. And I said, and she said, you have a psychiatrist? And I said, well, that's why I'm calling. And she said,
You're just surrounded. This is the problem if you live in Chicago.
Wait, I got one more story. Listen to
All
this.
right. So wait, what happened? Yeah.
So
Was that it?
that was pretty much. Yeah, she de-escalated after that, and then I said, okay, thank
Nice.
you, have a good day. And so one time I was being evicted from this apartment building that I lived in, and so I called what they call like the Chicago Low Income Housing Legal Assistance Hotline or something. And I get this guy on the phone, and I'm like, hey, I'm being evicted. I'm a disabled veteran. I have severe PTSD, service connected. And he says, I'm from the fucking ghetto, and we all got PTSD, bitch. He's like, shut the fuck up. Stop complaining, bitch. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, oh my God. Like, this is the most gangster ass motherfucking customer service operator I've ever heard in my life. I was like, this is so funny. He's like, we all got PTSD. I was like, sir, I thought this was the legal aid hotline.
Please.
That was the eviction legal aid hotline. Was, bitch, we don't care if you got fucking PTSD. We all got PTSD up in this complicated world, motherfucker. I was like, oh shit. Anyways, I'm just saying, like, it's got to be true that, like, the more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get. And so when you call and you ask for help, you get called out on the asking for the help. So they're accusing you initially of even making a complaint when all you're trying to do. Anyways, I'm just saying that this app proves multiple things about human behavior. And see, the cool thing is about the anonymous functionality and recording people and documenting their behavior is that if you were to show that to a potential client of theirs or maybe their manager, they would be like, maybe the manager's retarded too. And so they actually won't even care. But anyways, I'm just trying to say people do not have cognitive security on this app. They are willfully ignorant. Happily, they project all kinds of propaganda and lies. Like Steve Appel is a big liar. He intentionally lies. And yesterday he was like, it was very intense. He was like, now if you believe that the polio vaccine is a bad thing, well then you are 100% a fucking moron. But I have a controversial opinion. If you think the COVID-19 vaccine maybe has some negative side effects, well then I wouldn't say you're a fucking moron. But if you believe that these 5 major vaccines are bad for you and won't save your life, you're a fucking moron. And I'm just like, that is just so not scientific. It's not statistical. It doesn't presuppose that it's an industry and there's not all these commercial obvious benefits to the company, to the shareholders that get the government to buy all these vaccines and print them up and chemically create them. So anyways, people, in my opinion, if you have sour grapes because you took the Zav, well, then you're going to defend your Zav position. And I think that's just like basic psychology. And the fact that people can't see that, like that's why I say they're intentionally malevolent, dishonest, but it's really just personality. And there's nothing you can do. All you can do is push back. But eventually, after many years of even communicating with these people, they completely block me. They don't want to hear from me. And they hate the fact that I even live stream their rooms onto YouTube. But to me, that's like the ultimate joy and satisfaction is knowing that I have discovered and accurately diagnosed high-level R words. And but if they watch themselves, they have to admit that they're like totally disagreeable, highly annoying, highly argumentative, and they sound horrible. And they just scream at people. And so...
I was just talking. But I was just going to say, I was saying it's very hard to
permission to conduct to realize trends.
So I'll tell you this story briefly. I have to go. But I called this guy. I doubt I've ever told you the story. Do you have a sites
for that? Sites or mainly hospitals?
No.
Now you're muted.
No.
Well, I called this guy out as a racist like 10 years ago. Back when I was like a woke retard, excuse me, awkward. And then I called him out as a racist. He wasn't a racist. I spent a lot of time kind of trolling this guy. And then like 5 years later, which was at this point like 5 years ago, then I got called out as a racist. And then it was very damaging to me. It made me all crazy. I lost a lot of relationships and lost some employment, and it was very fucked up. And through it all, in the back of my mind, I was thinking like, but you used to do this. I used to do the same shit, you know? So it was kind of like a karmic punishment. And then I started kind of wanting to apologize to some of the people. And there were some people I made amends with, but there was this guy, Daniel Vitalis, who I always really wanted to talk to.
I don't care
and,
how small it is.
I called him a couple of times. I called him probably last year and never got through. But then I called him the other day and spoke with his brother and said, I want to talk to Daniel. And then Daniel called me yesterday, and I spoke with him on the phone, and I said, hey, I'm sorry for calling you a racist. Obviously, that was unfounded. And we spoke on the phone for like half an hour, had a good conversation. It was very healing. And I don't know, was just thinking, like, there are so many people who I would love to get an apology from, or like there are so many R words who I would love for them to become educated. But
bro, the fact that you think you're entitled to an apology is fucking deranged, my friend.
Well, no,
Deranged.
that's my point. Let me just finish here. It's not that I'm entitled to an apology. It's that, oh, it would be nice. I don't think I'm entitled to it. But I do think that we can control our own actions. So I wanted to apologize to this guy. I called him up and had a nice chat with him, and then that was very healing. But I don't think that I can sit around and wait for an apology from other people, because I think that would be deranged. That's my point.
Got it. So what's interesting is the apology is the healing, and that's what Yom Kippur is all about. And I always ask, atonement. I always ask people, like, have you ever actually asked for forgiveness and humbled yourself? Because I looked up the word humble, and it's basically you put somebody else, the person you're apologizing to, you put them on the pedestal. That means you look up to them and you say, I'm sorry, and I'm putting you in a higher position now. But many people can never get to that point because their pride, their vanity, their ego, their personality, their persona, no fucking way will I put you up on that fucking pedestal. And supposedly you want to apologize to that person with that kind of attitude? So that's what a high level R word is. But anyways, I will just say, if the country ever has a gay black president, it'll obviously be the destruction of America. Because if everyone has to take orders from an uppity, snippety, gay black man, well then, the whole country will fall apart, because that intelligence is so inferior that there's no way that could ever happen in American history, right?
That would be bad. Who is this guy Q?
You do realize I'm making a joke. I hope you realize I'm making a joke about Barack Hussein Obama, who killed his lover boy chef because he was writing a tell-all tale, gossip book about their love affair in the White House.
I'm aware.
But anyways, this is Highly Annoying People, highly argumentative people, and I want to thank you for joining us in the Kabbalah Secret Doctrines room. See, Kabbalah is actually the philosophy of many philosophies. According to some Kabbalists, it's not just Zohar. It's like a secret doctrine which has many branches on the tree of life. Hello?
Hello? All right, well, I have to go. I have a bunch of shit to do, but...
Okay, never, please, my friend, FYI, in the future, never, ever, ever say, I have to get some work done, I have a life, I've got to be productive, and never say, hey, I gotta go. Just Irish goodbye, because this is Clubhouse.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, Eastern influence on us. You have heterodox influences, right? And I pointed this out to you, and then I'm saying, gee, well, where did Muhammad hear this stuff from, and how did it end up in the Quran? Well, he must have spoke to some of these Jewish people and some of these heterodox people that were rejected from the ecumenical councils. They must have traveled around, and he must have pointed this stuff. I don't see what's so fucking hard to understand about that. Secondly, we say that our book is inspired by God, right? Wouldn't you say on the basis of that, let's just give Muhammad his due credit, right? Let's give him credit where credit is due. Maybe he's writing a book inspired by God as well. Is that more acceptable?
But look, it wasn't directly from them. It was from Paul and James. They were 50 years or 25, 30, at least 50 or 60 years after Jesus' death. So these people, they can't write what Jesus said verbatim.
So is your book the verbatim word of God, or is it inspired by God?
The verbatim.
Oh, okay. So you're a dipshit and you just didn't listen to anything that I just said a minute ago.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. All I'm saying is it verbatim.
You're overly committed to Muslim fucking brainwash. You know what? That's what they do. They do the slogan airing.
You can't prove your point.
Here's the slogan airing. We have a perfectly preserved fucking book. Well, you know what? I got a perfectly preserved jar of pickles in my fucking fridge. Is that the pickle of God?
Bro, what type of example is that, bro? It's time, bro. Come on, bro. Chill out, bro. It's not that serious, bro. There's no way you can get to me right now. can't kill me, bro. I'm not nowhere around you. And I'll probably call the FBI Secret Service on you. Just letting you know. So calm down, bro. It's not that serious, bro.
Calm down. Dude, this is why I
just prove your point. Like we're having
they
like
have this thing called cognitive dissonance, right? It's a thought of view inconsistent with its human value. The thought of view is that you think you guys overlap with our religion, and when I'm showing you how you don't, you still want to maintain this thing.
This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. This is my argument.
When it doesn't.
Okay, this is my argument. My argument is the book that you're getting, I'm saying that book is not even authentic. That book was written 50 years after Jesus. So I'm trying to say, how consistent is that book when it's St. Paul, James,
your book was fucking written 50 years after the death of the fucking prophet and the third caliph with fucking Indian Masad and Uthman. So what?
No. All they did was compile it, bro. That's the difference. They were already, there was people who were that wrote it that remembered
original manuscripts after they compiled it, so you can't see what was really written there. That's a great one.
No. They compiled it because that's what I'm saying. You don't understand. But for me to explain one language, you speak only one language.
All the things that people say, all the things that people remember that end up in the fucking hadiths, though. You know, it's the same thing with the original manuscripts in the Quran that all got fucking burned, dude. Well, why is it good to do it in one sense, but not good to do it in another? There's the P and fucking not P right there, dude.
To do that, it's not the way you're thinking. But listen, you know what they said? This is scientifically proven, right? When somebody knows the Arabic language and he's learning it, right? He uses 2 parts of his brain. So for me to try to explain to you one Arabic to another language, try to explain to you, you would never understand it because you're only using one part of your brain. You only know English.
If I use the part of my brain where I get the Arabic, right, and have it translated perfectly from its Arabic, then what? What about if I use that part of my fucking brain? Is that okay?
Okay, then that means you will be more open-minded and you will try to reveal some of that facts. And I'm trying to tell you the thing. I'm telling you my facts. I'm saying people remember that. People at that time, even before Uthman, when he compiled it, people were already memorizing it. People already knew it. All he did was compile it.
So people had their own personal Qurans and they had their own writings and their own side details. Which would be considered a hadith, right? Which is how people talk to each other and translate and recite it into oral traditions and explain their understanding of that thing. Why are they burning that too?
That's not the way I'm trying to explain to you. It's not, they never did that, bro.
Why are they burning it?
They never did, bro.
Yeah, they did.
They burned the ones that were already errored, that was already ripped, that wasn't fully completed. Like some of them was not completed. Some of them already have it.
How do you know that?
This is the consensus. This is what they did it for, bro. You cannot just burn it.
How do you know that?
I know this for a fact.
Who told you that?
But listen, we listen to what the prophet revealed to us. That's what
I'm going to ask you one more time. Who told you that? Or I'm going to just get the fuck out of here too.
The prophet told us, bro.
Oh, the prophet told you. Oh.
You take it from the hadith.
So we're doing circular reasoning today. Because I can just tell you, the God of my Bible tells me you're fucking wrong. And I can say my book tells me your book is fucking wrong. And do circular reasoning that way, right? And not even make a fucking argument. Or bring a counterfactual. Is that okay? Or like, because now I fucking win, right? That's okay? I can use circular reasoning because my book says so?
You got it, bro.
All right, yeah, fair enough. So the Muslim argument reduces to, trust me, bro, my prophet said so. Amazing.
Yeah, there's only 2 types of people, believers and non-believers. It's a very binary system. And mind you, it's not believers in God, it's believers in Muhammad. So that's the big, like you said, gotta believe me, bro. It's bullshit. It's a scam. It's a fraud. Islam is an MLM, in-group, out-group scam.
You're saying a person, look, you're literally saying that Muhammad is not a true person who brought down the Quran, but you're saying a person who brought down the gospel, whatever, he's God.
No, bro.
That came into human form.
We're just trying to focus here on Muhammad. Not Jesus, not Krishna, not any other prophet, because Muhammad has the special name, the messenger. He should have been called the liar, not the messenger.
No, bro, you fried.
You got a bad bullshit detector. Bad gaydar. You got a good gaydar or a bad gaydar? I bet you got a shitty gaydar because you can't detect fraud. You can't detect scam. You can't detect when somebody's lying to you, setting up a fake doctrine, a fake legal code to enslave you like the mafia. Hello?
That's why deceived by the Jewish community, just because people like you that think like, oh, the Muslims they're against us. We don't believe.
I'm willing to bet that this motherfucker bank ain't never read the Charter of Medina, the Constitution of Muhammad. You don't even know the laws of Muhammad, bank. You never read it. I done read the whole fucking thing 5 times, top to bottom. I know the scam, baby. You don't even know how the scam works. Tell me at least one amendment from the Charter of Medina written by Mohammed the scammer, the fraudster, the liar.
Listen. For now, why you gotta talk shit, bro?
Well, I gotta talk shit, motherfucker. I'm talking about the law of Muhammad. Go ahead and read it instead of talking all the time and not citing a goddamn thing, you fucking spreader of lies.
We can't. We respect Jesus, right? So we can't like talk shit.
Yeah, because you guys own Jesus, right? You take everything and copyright and infringe. It's all you guys do is lie, steal.
Well, how about if I show you what I said?
Hold on. He says I respect Jesus, right? He says I respect Jesus, right? But then totally undermines his sacrifice, right?
It's torture. We don't undermine his torture and his rape. We don't want him to get raped and tortured. You want him raped? Go fuck yourself.
You know,
undermine the torture.
Al-Zut says that your fucking prophet got gang raped by a bunch of black men in the desert.
Yeah, you piece of fucking shit. You horrible fucking motherfucker.
That's why.
Be objective.
The Christian
You
community
deny
right now.
torture. You deny torture. Go fuck your torture mother.
Right, the white Christian
Go rape your
community
mother
right now.
for your sins. Go.
They being fucked by gang. Addicts. All the community right now you're talking about the Christians, they're literally they're women, they're white women, they're being fucked by black men, impregnated by black men, and their fathers were.
So Andy, does that answer any of your questions?
Kind of like let's approach it from a logical Christianity, right? The original texts were written in Greek, and I've never heard it goes like, oh, you know, you need to be able to read and write Greek. It's the Bible. That's never been the narrative. If not, everybody would speak Greek, you know, and it would have been influenced like as much Christianity was influenced. So the other follow-up question to that is, now if we do go by the Greek texts, how preserved are the Greek Orthodox texts? That's it. Somebody could pull it up on Google.
What happened?
And the goo stop the content.
All right. To the side. Here we go. Up again. 15 years in a deep dish kitchen taught me what you. That was it. If a woman is sauce, what is this still intimacy or is it something else?
I think it implies like a guy killing a woman, and because he's a woman in some way, as in boyfriend against girlfriend, or some sort of a system of horrible subjugation of women, including violence. I think it has what the kids would call a gender
gendered aspect to it.
Okay, get that. But what if, saying like a wife finds out about the other woman that the man is with, and she decides to kill that other woman. So she's killing her because she's a woman, and that's woman on woman front. Is that still?
No, he's still the man's fault. If you haven't really looked at the guy's but the man's fault.
Okay, look, I'm not saying that it is the man's fault, but it's killing of the other woman, right? Yes. Yeah, bring up your mind. Well, this is not a question, it's a recommendation. And please put the recommendation seriously. So, homicide is not a trivial matter. So, it's not the sort of thing that people should troll about. It's not the sort of thing that people should joke about. If you're actually interested in learning more about homicide, leave Clubhouse, pull out your Google, and read a little bit about it. I'm being very serious. I'm not. I'm not joking. No, I'm serious. It's not close. It isn't. So a grown man with a degree from a UK himself, not asking random people on Clubhouse about how hypotheticals related to the genders of people in a relationship. Stop it. I'm just trying to explore. Sir, and I'm saying explore on your phone or on a computer by reading it. I can do a survey and try to talk. No, because we're talking. Femicide is not a funny matter. It's not trivial. There's nothing funny about it. And it's not a trivial matter. It's something to engage with seriously.
Is not going to get that
Not
man today.
unseriously, which is what you're doing. Talking about you want to take a damn survey. Oh, come on, man. Look, I'm just trying to stimulate some conversation. You're not stimulating. You're not stimulating. I'm not stimulating. No, you're not. You're not.
I'm young and restless, friend.
Yeah, we don't want to discuss that. But yeah, Ramos, just leave that alone. Talk about something else. Well, what else? What else are they talking about? Anything but that.
Ramos, can I talk about the woods for a second with you? The forest?
The woods and the forest?
Yeah, the wilderness.
You mean the trees in the forest? The difference between?
Well, we're getting there. So let me tell you about that. If a tree falls in the forest, it's the man's fault. You reading me?
Yeah. You know.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. First lady, are you there? First lady, hello. Ben, are you there? Ben, hello. There are people. Your mama she has her hand raised, so she needs to be brought up. She has breaking news. Your mama has breaking news. Can somebody bring her up? Okay, your mama come up. Hand raising's been turned off.
I was really doing that for Devon, but sounds like Devon is still. Devon, you there? You come up.
I don't have any breaking news, Mom. So.
Oh, it was in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, the chat.
The New York Times Daily Podcast is good today, in my opinion, if you want to listen to it on your own. With Maggie Haberman, she reports on Trump. With Jonathan something, who also reports on Trump. He's got like some kind of British accent or something. And of course, the host, Michael Barbaro. And what they say is that Trump doesn't care about the midterms, which is sort of interesting. And I think the heavy implications because he's so egotistical.
Is Jonathan Swan, just in case you
Jonathan Swan, thank you, yeah. I've been listening to a lot of Jonathans lately.
I'm Trumped out, so I'm not interested in.
Yeah. This is why I voted for Biden.
me. Do you know the reason why you assume? Because more than likely, he has to be interested in the midterms based on the simple fact that that is to do with Congress. And it can change from a Republican to a Democratic, correct? So, Trump can be taken out if it favors what? I mean, I wish Divine would come up so he could be modded so that he could sit people like this down. This is just embarrassing. I'll come back.
Don't leave us, your mama. Don't leave us, please. We talk about wishes. Can I wish that Hurricane takes off Lassie Shamar Moore off his PTR? I don't need to see that. I don't need to see glistening Shamar Moore day after day. It's just not doing it for me.
Is it because it looked good to you? Is it good to you? I don't like it.
I tried to get a bite like that, but I found out that I never could. So I give up.
See, there you go. So it should motivate you to get into the gym. I told you, it's a motivational piece. Y'all just...
My body's not built that way. I can only do so much. I can't do that. Rhombus. Okay, so your genetic inferiority is not our concern, okay? Genetic inferiority? I mean, I'm just not that kind of man. Hi, Divine.
Can't see myself. I'm on stage. I see myself in the damn.
We can see you.
What the hell is going on? I'm in the fucking audience. Okay, there I go. What's up, y'all? Happy Friday.
Hi.
Happy Friday to you.
Got nothing. I just came up just to
We meet again.
this guy. I just came to say what's up. Got a little break, but I'll be on the job when I get off the job.
Yeah, we need you to take care of the trolls on stage and control the hooligans that we do have on stage.
You know, I was gonna make a T-shirt Hurricane, and you probably would have bought one. I was gonna make a T-shirt called NGL.
Hurricane don't wear T-shirts.
And NDL. Niggas don't listen.
Oh, that was gonna be for me?
I said you would buy one. That you would buy one because it's the fact. NDL. I can't buy one.
I'm not walking around with the N-word on my body.
Well, it would just say NDL, and when people ask you what it means, you could say what it means. You can't control these people on the stage. They are crazy. They're out of control.
Well, I just want to remind you, we are on nigga-free hours. We have 2 more hours to go. Shut up.
Oh yeah, how's the meetings going with the nigga-free zones, Rufus? No.
Every room has failed. Every room has failed. I'm trying to implement my nigga-free zone. I think yesterday I awarded some people because they, use their vocabulary creatively, dance around the word, which was great. But yeah, nigga-free zones it's just hard to come by and hard to maintain. So I'm trying to incentivize the nigga-free movement.
Incentivize something, man. You up here using the word. It just doesn't make sense, Marcus.
Well, no, that's it.
I ain't word you said, but gotcha. Copy that.
If we can just start with 2 nigga-free hours and successfully do it, then I believe that we can move towards a larger number. And one day,
Robert, just so you know, we've been in this room on many occasions
and not heard that word for hours. I don't think the people that frequent this stage use that word as often as you're implying. And shout out, I think Tira's here. I don't know if she stayed. Shout out to Tira. If she could come up. I don't know if she has some news or she knows what's going on in the world, or she could just tell us how beautiful it is in New York City today. Oh my God, what a nice.
Beautiful.
I have no. It is absolutely gorgeous in the city today. I'm going off to Queens right now, so.
Queens get the money. Call that QT. What is it? Queens get the money. QGTM is the hashtag. So if you ever see that, Tara, that's what it means. Queens get the money.
I've never heard of that. What does it stand for and why do they say that?
Because people from Queens think they get more money than the people from the other boroughs, which is not a fact.
Is that really, is that a thing?
It's a
Dollar
thing.
bill, dollar bill.
No, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that again.
Why? Made you laugh. It's worth something.
The Supreme Court. What's going on in the Supreme Court, Tara?
I have no idea. I'm like involved with this project. It's kept me busy for the last couple of days, and I'm actually going to Queens to pick up something for the project. So, which is, going to Forest Hills. Haven't been there in a while.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful there. You should walk in Forest Hills Gardens.
Well, I grew up in Forest Hills, so, but I don't usually go out there because I haven't lived there since I was like 50.
That's what's that? Near the E? Is that the E line? Or the F?
Yeah,
I think
First and Continental.
Isn't it E? Because I used to take the train to the Donnell Library when I was young. Oh, that was like so exciting for me to go alone, when I was like 13.
So
they rebuilt it, right?
What do you mean? No, I don't.
Yeah, it's all new and modern and beautiful.
We'll be in Forest Park on Sunday. That's off of Norm. You should know Forest Park off of it's a Cross Bay Boulevard, but what does it turn into? I just call it Cross Bay. We got an event there on Sunday, so that's gonna be good.
What kind of event?
Is that an invitation?
So, yeah, anybody can come. So we're coming together and we're going to support the family of the young man that was killed in the park in Queens. So we're gonna go from Forest Park on Cross Bay over to Roy Wilkins Park where the young man was killed. And when we get there, we're probably gonna take up a collection or encourage people to donate to the GoFundMe for his family.
I'm sorry, I don't know who was killed when.
Who passed away?
It was a young man. He was an aspiring actor. His uncle was a videographer. He went to high school in Queens. He was beat up, and after they beat him up, they shot him in the chest. It was all over the news, Sarah. They shot him in the chest. He passed away at Roy Wilkins Park. And yeah, it was a real tragedy. The young man that did it is on the lam. He was flown to Jamaica by his parents. They're putting the whole family on blast on social media. People are really getting at NYPD, like, come on, find this guy. The streets are saying, find this guy. So yeah, it's a real mess.
The only thing I know that happened today news-wise was that Chief Bureau announced he was stopping the investigation into Jerome Powell, which there was no law, no facts that would have justified an investigation into him, so it's a little ridiculous thing.
What I want to know, what is the suppose? Alexandra, what is it about?
God. Yeah, Yeah, thanks for that, Tara. And we spoke about that the other day. It's ridiculous that they want to accuse Jerome Powell of taking kickbacks.
It's not even kickbacks. It's just that the budget was too much, which is crazy. I mean, first of all, Trump keeps saying the budget was $3 billion, then it's $4 billion. He just keeps changing the figures. It's nothing like that. It went from 1.9 to 2.5. Okay, so it's not even close to what he said. But forgetting all of that, things happen. There are charges go up because COVID, because it's things. If anybody's ever done a home renovation project, I think you know that, right?
Exactly. And the tariffs, right? Construction is high. Budgets are up. It's bad.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's well this Friday. Divine, Miss Lady Man, everyone.
Serious, how are you?
Very well, my brother. I just got a question here on Jerome. He has the option to stay on the board, right? After Kevin Warsh takes over as a Fed chair.
Yeah, that's correct.
So does Trump has the right to fire him at that point?
No. Only for cause, which he doesn't have.
As a board member.
Correct. That's why he tried to. Was it Lisa? What was her name? Lisa Jackson. I forget the other. Lisa Cook. Right. That's what he's trying with her to say it's cause because he doesn't really have the right to fire people.
Okay. Yeah, he's trying to get his cronies on the board as much as possible, and look like Jerome Powell is not going to be voting for anything like Trump's want, like interest rate. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But Kevin Warsh has been a hawk from day one, so I don't know how he's going to be lowering the interest rate coming up this year. But you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I think he also in his confirmation hearings sort of was very pro-Trumpy, which would not surprise me. And also one of the reasons why I think that Jeanine Pirro stopped this was Tom Tillis to actually withdraw his hold on Kevin Warsh, right? Because Tillis was holding up that nomination because he didn't like that Powell was being investigated. So now Warsh will get, I assume, confirmed.
Thanks, Tara.
Hey, Divine.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, can you post that GoFundMe or can you back channel to me? I'm from Bronx, but I don't live in New York no more. But I like to donate to that young man's GoFundMe.
P-Man, I surely will.
Hi, Sirius. I didn't get a chance to speak to you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Hey, P-Man. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
looks like it's doing well so far. Leading by the Nasdaq and the tech sector. More than anything else, oil prices are going up also. So, but yeah, the AI trade is doing well with all the tech companies, Intel, AMD, Micron, and Palantir and everybody else.
But I don't know if you agree, but I do have some concerns about how quickly this is moving unless we can see some clear feasibility studies about the environmental effects of these data centers that are very much a part of why we see, this sector booming. Not saying it shouldn't be booming, but I think that there are some things that in a SWOT analysis would clearly identify whether or not we should have some concerns or at least discuss, what it might look like in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I think.
You're right.
Pardon?
Yeah, I said you are right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't hear too much about that side of the coin, but we have heard a little bit of chatter about residents who are currently living near these systems, and that's not really highlighted too much either, but I know there's been some chatter.
Yeah, we're in a build out phase right now, and these environmental impacts are usually shoved them aside in the appendix in the last pages, right? Nobody cares about them at this point, as you said. Every company trying to get into this AI race, and definitely it's going to put a lot of load on the current existing infrastructure in terms of power, water, resources overall. So you're in the build out phase right now that we are in. Probably the investors don't want to hear that. Basically, all the investors will pour money onto these databases. The databases at this point, the data centers at this point is unprofitable. They try to find out a way to get them profitable. So they are in the early stages at this moment. But eventually, either we have to have a new energy sources, either fossil fuel energy sources or nuclear. So we'll see how it can get built out. But right now it's just everybody's building these data centers.
So when you think about it, there are some opportunities out there to do, water extraction, atmospheric water extraction. But I don't hear much about that. But I have heard that it will put a strain on the water reserves that we currently have, assuming that's what they would use water reserves for instead of actually having drinking water for people. Some of this stuff is just not mapped out in a way that's transparent, and we should all be concerned about that, because I could see a time when you have to decide whether or not you're going to drink water that day or not. And all of these things are on the table. The ones that stick, the ones that don't. But I just don't hear that kind of conversation in these, not this room, but just in this industry. Period. Even in the periodicals and stuff that are coming out, I don't see a lot of it. I'm a little concerned about that. That's all.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. It is concerning, but it is just like early days in the oil industry where we find this new source of energy, which is great. People don't care about water, they don't care about the environmental impact, the pipelines, and anything else. Usually this is a postmortem analysis usually happen, and they would go back and they would say, oh, well, we should have done this and we should have done that. But this now, right now, is just Wild Wild West. And it's just sad.
They know better. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they know better.
They know better, that's for sure. But usually, that's how it happens. You're in a build out, an expansion phase. They don't care about it at this moment.
And then, as I understand it, these data centers also use some uranium, and in what form I don't know. But does uranium poison the water supply? I think it does. And then, what is the cleanup, or what is the protocol for making sure that doesn't happen? So yeah.
Yeah, I just started reading this book with regard to AI. It's called, it came out last year, but I'm late to it. If anyone builds it, everyone dies. And why superhumans AI would kill all of us. It's by Nate Soares. Basically, it's arguing that these AI systems, agentics AI, basically, they're gonna be so smart, much more intelligent than human beings. They're gonna develop systems and processes and stuff like that that it's gonna wipe out the industry, wipe out the humanism. It's an apocalyptic, I guess, view of AI. I've just started reading it, so I don't know enough about it yet.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I'm actually building I'm building a vertical farm sprinkler rack. I'm trying to build it just from my own ideas, using AI as my assistant, and actually having it illustrate for me, the ideas that I have. And so far, it's really doing a good job. It's really doing a good job. But I don't see that even if I were to, and I am going to print all of this out, in the form of a manual, I'm sure there's going to be some hiccups. I'm sure that there's going to be some things that need adjusting and all of that, which takes critical analysis. And I'm not sure yet. I don't think we're there yet as far as AI, that it can do robust critical analysis. I was talking to a programmer yesterday. He says, no, we're not. That doesn't mean we won't be at some point. But I just think when you're dealing with thought and innovation and information, you're going to have there's going to be some errors. I mean, even in machinery, there's going to be some errors because, there are things that you just haven't thought of. Maybe the machine would think of it, but if the person If a human hasn't thought of it, I don't know how a machine could without there being an instance somewhere. You know what I mean?
I totally understand what you're saying. But these systems right now are, I would say, very, very intelligent at this moment. In the past, if you think of computer programming, and I'm not a computer programmer or developer or anything like that, I have just interest in that topic. You know, we used to give a set of instructions. The computer will go in and solve a problem, give you A, B, and C answers, and so on and so forth. These are, you know, deep learning, self-enforcing, through machine learning. When you give them a problem, what happens is they don't think of the problem as this is the problem. They think of it as a human being with many, many iterations and many, many parameters to this problem. So what they do is they go in and say, okay, can I break this problem to smaller pieces? Can I try this? Can I try that? And then they have another systems developing the plan of execution of these problems, right? So they think of it like logically the best way to go solve this problem. By themselves, they train themselves, and they validate their answers back and forth. There's no such a thing as right answer or wrong answer, because we don't know the answer to the problem. So that's why these AI systems, it's not like you're gonna go in and you're gonna tweak one line of code. No, they've already been working on it, and you don't know what part of the code is the problem. Case in point was when Grok came out and talked about Nazis and, you know, stuff like that. Grok got crazy last year, I believe. It was hard for Elon Musk and his team at Grok to find out where is the problem and how we can put safeties into this AI system, because these AI systems started thinking for themselves, right? And it's very, very hard. You provide them the parameters, and they go in and they do their own thing through many, many iterations and combination of these parameters to find the right way to do it, and it depends on the inputs they get. So it is very, very hard, and that's why the AI researchers are afraid this is why we're going to run away from us, right? And some AI systems also think about maybe we should cheat the system to get away from the problem, right? If you give them a particular parameters and you say, hey, solve these things for me, they might go in and say, you know what, we're not thinking in the box, let's think outside the box. So this is how it's given there. And I'm assuming by 2030, it's going to be a runaway. Right now, the issue is we don't have good safety AI systems or ethics to do this. If an AI system want to create, what do you call a disease, a pandemic, for example.
Serious. Do you guys remember?
Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, David?
You know, what I was saying is like now this is a huge proliferation to an AI system across the globe. And yes, there is a lot of application that could be used for good, but there is also bad people in the world, and they can use that for bad. Bioengineering, bioweapons, it's a massive problem, and nobody's controlling that at this moment. And these are the risks and stuff like that. So that's why this is the little bit of the book that I was just started reading it. So they talk about these kind of stuff.
What's the book? What's the book? Hello, everybody.
Yes, I'm saying.
Hey, Neil.
Oh, hey, Neil. The book, if anyone build it, everyone dies. Or superhuman intelligence, superhuman AI would kill us all. It's
Oh, God. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think, look, it's something that one of the things that I worry about, especially with my kids, because we all, you sort of think about the first law of robotics, right? Do no harm to humans, don't injure any human, etc. But there's no such law built into AI, or at least people can certainly generate AI without such a law. And you could see how easily it could be not just bioweapons, but let's say the problem was environmental pollution is killing the planet. Do something. Well, maybe if you didn't have any humans, there wouldn't be any environmental pollution killing the planet, probably, right? So, there are things when you think about answers and what can happen, it's scary because there's nothing. I think that's what you're saying, Sirius. There's nothing built in that really stops any particular system, or at least maybe some systems have things built in, but not all. And people can generate systems that have nothing built in. And so I don't know how you deal with it.
Exactly, that's the premise of the whole book, I believe, the thesis. We don't have protection, we don't have parameters, we don't have a safety net. So this system can run wild, and it is all over the place. China can do something, Russia can do something, North Korea can do something, right? It is, we don't know. It's not only in the US, it's all over the world. So one person can really create a lot of damage around the world. Right now, I think Neil and Tara, last week or the week before, Claude came up with a new version that can be able to hack one zero-day vulnerability into the most softwares. I don't know if you've seen that story before.
Yes, I did, and it can get into anything, and so then the question, and it was released, wasn't it? They accidentally released some of it or something like that. So that's bad.
No.
The claims of AI companies should not be taken as philosophical truths. Eliza Yudkowsky, the writer of the book, shouldn't be taken seriously at all. He's not a practitioner. Anyway, I don't know where to begin.
No, the point is, I'm not saying he's right or wrong or anything like that. I find that book interesting, and I thought to start reading it. But there is a case to be made, that any new technology has good use, has dual use, good or bad. And given the fact that we don't have a safety net or regulations or anything around it in terms of safety, that could be a vulnerability to the world, basically. And so that's the point of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a different claim than what Eliza Yudkowsky makes in the book. His whole claim is that human brains are thermodynamically inefficient. AI would allow vastly possible AGI would outperform because it's going to be installed on better hardware software combination, leading to fast takeoff, right, of intelligence. The problem is that his ontology of intelligence is exactly that. I just put it in 2 sentences. It's not a serious book, right? He doesn't actually develop the theories. He just states that this can happen, and because the possibility of that happening is non-zero, we all should take him very seriously because of it. There is no substance to the argument.
Well, I'll read the book. I don't want to speak before I read it. It's something that I don't understand yet. But from my quick research about it, it says, hey, we're developing this new technology that is, many CEOs said that, even Altman said that, and OpenAI, he said that, we're developing this new technology that could be good 70 to 80% of the time, but we don't know about the 20% of the time what's going to happen. Like, you don't know where is it going. And that's science, that's technology, right? I mean, we don't know how the application use cases can be.
That's not how anything works. We know a lot of stuff. That's not how stuff works. if that's the level of uncertainty that we're going for, we don't know if the sun is going to rise tomorrow, right? Like there's fundamental uncertainties in everything. That's true. That doesn't mean we don't know things. We have a very good idea of how current technology works, right? Now, I'm not saying there are no concerns. There are a lot of concerns. They're just not the concerns that Eliza Yudkowsky wants us to think about. He wants us to think about existential risk, right? And actually why people like him are toxic, right? To the safety argument, right? I'm pro-safety. The technology should be rolled out with regulation, with oversight, all of that type of stuff, right? The problem is Eliza Yudkowsky doesn't talk about that. He talks about existential concerns, right?
Which is part of risk management, right? Overall, when you're talking about certainty and actually happening, what is the risk management on that? That's what he's talking about. I'm not defending him. I'm not saying anything. I just find this book interesting. I'm reading it. I don't know much about it at this moment. I'm reading as we go. But it is just for the sake of the discussion, I'm just saying that there is a risk, but we're not addressing the risk, and we don't have safety for these risks. We don't have any mitigation plans or control plans on these risks. That's for my latest, understanding of AI and this brand new technology, especially in the US or in Canada. Europe may have a little bit, but it's not. I don't know nothing about China. I don't know nothing about, Russia and what are the safety. Did they have safety regulations? And I'm not saying that we should have regulation, but I'm just saying these companies are running wild, and everybody's bringing out a new version of an AI every single day that does something.
You guys, you don't understand.
So okay, whatever. So that's what's happening. That's all I'm saying.
The politics of this AI conversation is pretty hard. Who got cancelled for being a racist before that. I think 2 years ago or something like that. They like heavily utilitarian approach to ethics, making weird arguments about human life in the future because population growth, etc., is more valuable than life today. Can find their arguments on less long-term work. They are kind of crazy ethics utilitarians, right? And their AI safety and artificial intelligence is very focused on existential risk for those reasons, right? The politics of it is very strange because they don't like the whole OpenAI initial marketing approach was based around this concept, right? They since have backtracked. Right, and Eliza Yudkowsky and his kind of people lost political cachet in Silicon Valley and generally. This book is kind of an attempt to get back into it. But again, if you're actually looking at politics of regulation of all of those things, currently OpenAI and others using arguments like this are pushing to treat artificial intelligence as an existential risk vis-a-vis in competition with China to possibly ban sales of NVIDIA technology, right? NVIDIA doesn't want that, by the way. NVIDIA really wants to sell it to China, right? And now they're accusing China for stealing their technology and training their models, which are progressively getting better and better and better and now free and open source. A big threat to for-profit models, but they work for profit. You can get Opus Claude equivalent of Opus 4.5 or 6 running on commodity hardware today using the Chinese models. So they're a threat. And these arguments are primarily used today to gather political support, to screw not the Chinese, but using the Chinese AGI existential risk argument, screw NVIDIA and other vendors like in the United States, like the consumers of the OpenAI, right? Because consumers of OpenAI have optionality. A lot of consumers of OpenAI are also consumers or self-host the Chinese models, right? If the Chinese model uses band, the only it becomes a virtual. Well, it's not monopsony because there is an OpenAI and Anthropic, but OpenAI and Anthropic become the only game in town, right? So the politics around all of this stuff is very weird, and like none of it should be read without looking at it.
No, I totally understand. I understand what you're saying. The politics part, it's also another thing of it, right? Because there's a lot of competition. No, I understand that 100%. As I said, I'm a skeptic, but also I'm reading this book to hear different voices about what the thesis of this is about, and just understanding different voices for me, not to just go with the flow with everybody, building these data centers and this AI and the world will be great. I just want to understand different point of views. That's all. I'm not an expert in this section. I never claim to be, but I'm willing to learn. That's all.
Oh, good afternoon. Neo, you gave a great summary of the current discourse and state. Just want to say that.
Thank you. Yeah, probably like very few people understood what I was saying because it's really hard to follow and nobody, the mainstream media does only this CEO said this journalism. There is no real analysis of it. Like I haven't read this anywhere.
Yeah, I haven't read like a deep dive into the less wrong community and effective altruism and all that kind of jazz and tying it back into the people at Anthropic and OpenAI. Like no one has written like a really long form article about that,
Yeah, well, there is one exception. There was a good profile on Sam Altman. What's the guy's name? The author, the project.
Oh, you're talking about the New Yorker one? I think I finished it.
Yeah, that one was good. But I mean more kind of business interest analysis, right? Like what is the incentive of OpenAI and Anthropic pushing, thank you, man, Ron Farrell, pushing regulation of Chinese models, right? While NVIDIA is pushing to sell GPUs in China, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like all of the anti-distillation arguments make no sense to me, and it feels like, well, at least it was pretty popular to make those arguments in 2024, 2025. I haven't seen those arguments in 2026 as much.
They removed all this. I think they're drafting law, right?
Oh, really?
Based on distillation arguments, yes.
Oh my god. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. If training on the output is wrong, but training on all the inputs is not stealing, then it's just pure regulatory capture in my mind, at least.
Well, that's clearly this is not new for Silicon Valley, right? Uber, etc. If you can build 0 to 1 Peter Thiel book, right? If you can build a monopoly, that's what you should do. Monopoly is the best business. How do you build a monopoly? Well, close to a monopoly is ban the Chinese, and then it's only OpenAI and Anthropic in United States. And the problem is, it's not about Chinese; it's about U.S. vendors, other U.S. vendors. Like, what's the? I'm blanking on the names. Like, what's the biggest? Cursor, yes, biggest consumer of OpenAI credits. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues. I was reading an article saying that most of the new AI wrappers and startups in Silicon Valley are using the Chinese models because it's much cheaper.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like for coding, okay, sure, you want access to the best available state-of-the-art closed source. It's probably better, right? It's still pushing the limits. But for prompt engineered task that is evaluating some consumer sentiment from an email, you don't know. You don't need GPT 5.5. Like it can run on, at this point, it can run on 8 billion parameter model. Chinese are not checked. And most business workflow tasks are like that.
So what was the contention earlier? I came in late. If you want, I don't know if anybody's interested, but I was just curious.
No contention. Sirius was telling us about the book he's reading, which is the Eliezer Yudkowsky book on the rationalist restaurant community guide, the existential AI risk, AGI. Sirius, do you know what is Roko's basilisk? Male, do you want to explain what Roko's basilisk is?
No.
And curse Sirius?
No. I'm just, as I said, I just picked up this book. I ordered it from Amazon. I don't have it yet. But I just found it is interesting. So I'm just looking forward to read it. That's the whole point of it. That's it.
Yeah. Roko's basilisk is the refashioning of Laplace demon, I think, probably thought experiment, which is in the future, if there is an AI, right, and an AI is existential risk, it's as bad as Eliezer Yudkowsky, and this is his thought experiment. I'm just illustrating it for what passes as philosophy in Silicon Valley. And if in the future AI exists, right, let's say 20 years from now, and that AI is evil, right, and it is so intelligent it can travel back in time, etc. This is not.
It's so fucking dumb.
It's so fucking
That's way too many levels of extrapolation.
And AI, it's not my argument again. This is so dumb. I feel cringe just recalling that thing. And it knows that when you, as a citizen, voted against for AI regulation, and it's going to hate you for that, and it's going to torture you infinitely. That means, because that can happen by a high probability, according to Eliezer Yudkowsky, you should do everything possible, right, to make AI either not happen, or if it's too late, you should do everything possible to keep that AI happy.
I tell my AI thanks and please all the time. But I mean, on a more immediate conversation, though, about China, I think one of the things that me and Neil was short back and forth regarding the chat was the risk of China. So I think I read this book, AI Superpowers, China, Silicon Valley, and the New World Order by Kai Fu Lee. And if you're not familiar with him, he was the former CEO of Google China. So what he did for me is give a great conceptualization of how differences in culture might actually influence the AI race. So I was saying to the chat, we might consider it stealing, but accusing China of stealing is really dumb because even within the realms of China, he describes, and a lot of people probably, of course, you familiar with it as well, Neil and Bro. He was stating that industry, commerce, technology within China is more like
we call it a battle royale, where the winner emerges. So I mean, they don't care. I mean, they'll steal from each other, and he gave like countless cases of different companies acquiring either users or creating copycats of other companies. I mean, so they don't play by the same rules that we do. So I mean, Trump can accuse them of stealing, but that doesn't change the fact that they got what they got.
Oh,
I have a sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a good story on cultural differences regarding AI safety. On my last travel to Uzbekistan, there was a vendor I had a meeting that was selling basically surveillance system for governments. There are all over Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, like they're expanding, competing with Russia and stuff. So they were doing a presentation. Guess what? And it was an AI surveillance system, face recognition, all of tagging, all of this type of stuff, right? And they had really good, impressive demo, amazing user interface, very impressive, all of them. Do you know what they named or what the code name for the system was?
No, Palantir.
Skynet.
Okay. Nice.
You were saying something.
Yeah, the existential threats, though. I mean, it's quite interesting because I mean, I heard you saying in the chat again too. So I mean, the mythos scare is it could be advertising and promotion, but I don't believe it's a fear tactic because I mean, they literally held official meetings with these companies and identified some of the zero-day threats that they were able to uncover or discover using mythos. So I mean, literally, if they were the bad guys, they could have hacked these systems. So I think the threat is actually, and I was thinking about something which is ridiculous and very because I mean, you've seen all the articles or stories about different researchers and safety engineers actually resigning from their jobs and because and I'm like so I think some of that is fear too, but I think it's also a real concern because the problem is, even if you look at it just a typical example like hallucination, is that the problem is that we still cannot get these models to do exactly as we order or to stay within the boundaries. So if the people who are creating these models are not able to do that either, then we still have an issue.
Yeah. So on the mythos thing, like, I'm sure it's helpful. I'm very skeptical of how these AI companies do measurements and benchmarking, as well as how they talk about what they're doing. Because after listening to Sam Altman and Dario Amedi talk about, AI will replace all engineers in the next 1 year, and AI will get rid of all the lawyers in 6 months. It's just a little bit, like a bit leaning too heavy on the marketing for me, and less on the actual acknowledgement science.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Sorry, finish that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the one thing. Like, if Mythos was this all-powerful and super helpful system that Anthropic developed, then there would be no excuse as to why Anthropic had great performance in April and had a bug in the system where they would clear out all the bad context, clear out all context in an effort to, make things snappier. Like, with this like magical cybersecurity tool, they're still shipping stuff with bugs and issues and all of that. So that to me is like, kind of dampens the level of excitement and wonder that Anthropic is trying to sell people with this whole mythos thing. To an earlier point where you spoke about stealing, I just want to be clear. Like, I don't believe distillation is stealing, or quote unquote stealing, and I'd also make the argument that like this is kind of a
you know, to